It's Leslie Hassler here with Your Biz Rules, also the host for the Blast of Cash Master Series. Welcome to our third training. Yay! You always have to do a little celebration. We're wrapping up today in our 7 figures to 7 figures, one of the bonuses to the Blast of Cash Master Series. And I'm really excited because this kind of starts to wrap up the numbers, but there's also a lot that we're going to be talking about that starts to show you the magic of your business and being able to look at your numbers in such a way that actually empowers you to make good decisions. So with that, today we're going to kind of highlight over 3 areas. We're going to talk about your profit margin. We're going to talk about your cost of acquisition, how much you pay to get a new client in the door, and then we're also going to talk about the lifetime value of a client. If you've been following us in this series, you've probably heard me say that for the most part, the most expensive thing you can do is purchase a new client, is market, spend the money to actually get a new client in the door. And the thing that we forget is how valuable our clients really are to us once we have them. And they're usually worth a lot more than the sale that we initially have them for. So that's kind of what that lifetime value of a client is going to go into, and I hope to broaden your minds with some of those things. So I hope you've been enjoying each one. Make sure to let us know what you're thinking. You can shoot us an email at support@yourbizrules.com. Happy to answer those, and I answer them personally, so send them along. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pop over to our presentation so we can get started and be moving along for you. So hold on just one sec. All right, so we've got the 7 figures to 7 figures, and there's really the importance of these numbers is to help you get off the cash roller coaster in your business and into a business that survives and thrives, right? That's what we're here for. Most of us enjoy elements of our business, but really if we don't have cash coming into the business, our business will ultimately have to shut its doors. And part of the mission with the Blast of Cash teleseries, Master Series, was to help you avoid that, at all costs. That's why we're here. So let's kind of dig in real quick. And if you've been with us, we've been talking about you have a choice to be on the prosperity freeway or to take these poverty detours. For most of us, before you really get to know your 7 figures for 7 figures, we take those poverty detours and not even realize it, right? We get derailed for things that we just didn't even foresee for coming our way. And part of the 7 figures to 7 figures is to help you maintain your trajectory on that prosperity highway. Because in the end, we're all on a roadmap to success. And your success might be the red pen, and my success might be the blue pen, and someone else's might be the green in between. And what I love this is that we all can have success and we all can take different roads to be there. But just like your car runs well when it's tuned, there are those basic infrastructure items, such as the 7 figures, that help you really be able to continue the journey and stay on the highway and make it to your points of success. If you haven't heard my why behind it all, I actually come from a very entrepreneurial family. My mother and father had several small businesses, of which I was involved in almost every single one of them, child labor as it were. But it really imparted a true entrepreneurial mindset in me very early on. Now, if you've heard before, I actually stayed away from opening my own business. I kind of say I stayed away from it like it was the plague. And part of the reason that I stayed away from it was because in one business that my parents had, in fact, it was their last business to open, life started to get better for us, right? We could have those little luxuries like a Happy Meal or a road trip or some things, be able to buy new clothes for school, things that we were just not able to do when I was young. And through several missteps along the way, an accountant embezzled about the sales tax money for the company, and it really bankrupted my family. My parents didn't have cash reserves to be able to support that and recover from that. They didn't have a nest egg. They didn't have any cushion. And really, we declined as a family, and it's the point in my life that I can say that my family was ruined, and the next 8 years after that was pretty horrible to have gone through. And that's why I didn't want to go into business for myself, because the example that I had been shown was business ruins families, and I passionately did not want that for my own family. This is my family today. So picture is a couple of years old. I was looking at Edwin, the guy in the green shirt with the big "hello, I'm here" hands. Has gotten much bigger, so I'm going to have to update that soon. But this is my family, and this is why I do what I do, because of my family, because of the lifestyle that I would like to live. Includes lots of traveling. I kind of joke that I'm a gypsy who needs a home. I need a home base, but I love to travel, and really am not happy until my next kind of travel goes. And it's for these guys that I stayed away from entrepreneurism, and now it's for these guys that I stay in entrepreneurism and have business and enjoy every bit of what I do, because it also gives me the freedom to be with these boys. You know, I happen to pick up my boys every day at 3, and we have a homework table, and we're all sitting at it, and we're really a part of each other's lives. And I couldn't do that if I had a full-time job, and I couldn't do that if I ran my business the way mainstream America feels like you should run your business. So what I teach now is how to protect your family, you know, how to have a healthy family through having a healthy business, and how to do that in such a way that you can maintain your family as your #1 priority, which it is mine. To be completely honest with you, if tomorrow I found out that my business was putting my family in jeopardy, I would walk away from my business. That's how high my family is a priority to me. So that's kind of a little bit into some of the why behind it all. My entrepreneurial story is I started my first company in 2007, and we were doing well. And 2008, we reached multiple 6 figures, I think by April. And I was hiring people to help support me because I had more work than I knew what to do with, only to have it come crashing into an utter and total halt in 2009 and lose over 50% of my business. And really, I had a hard time with that. I took it very personally. I punished myself. I stopped paying myself, paid everyone else on the payrolls, but I stopped paying myself. I felt like I needed to work harder and work longer to solve my problem. And my problem was I could not get enough business in my door, could not make enough money to be profitable. And this little woman in a jar kind of is marketing's, I guess, idea of what that feels like to be stuck in your business and to be so utterly frustrated of not being able to bring in the right clients, not being able to bring in enough clients, and really not having enough money left over at the end of the day. In my world, this is what it feels like. It's anger, it's frustration, it's depression. It is intense. There's no meek and mild little old me sitting in a jar. No, this is me, how I felt during this 2-year period where I was so angry when everything that I kept trying didn't work, and then, you know, kind of crushed by this feeling of failure. Like, why is it that I'm not able to get this to work? I must not be doing something right. And so I kind of reached the point to where I decided to get help. I was actually at a conference, which is what we do, right, when we feel like we need to improve something. We go out and we try to learn as much as possible and buy books and find the solutions. But I realized that the solutions that I was trying to find weren't fixing the problem. And so I got help through a business coach, and it was probably one of the best decisions I made. But honest to gosh, it was the most scary decision that I made, because it involved making a pretty sizable, at that time, financial commitment every month. So I decided to bite the bullet and paid for it personally for 2 months. And then by the 3rd and 4th month, actually the business started being able to pay for my coaching from there out. So what happened? Well, those 2 years of struggling turned around in 6 months like I could never believe. I could not have dreamt it. I could not have foreseen it. I just went to work, taking the help that I had been given and turning it into reality. And the result was that I earned in 2011 the fastest turnaround company award from Mr. Brad Sugars, who owns Action Coach International. So it was an international award for fastest turnaround. And fastest turnaround meant in 6 months, I turned my business around 150%. That's staggering. I want you to kind of take your business where it is and imagine it growing 150% in 6 months. What would that translate to for you? Would it be a $100,000 increase? Would it be a $300,000 increase? It's really quite a staggering figure and can change the course of your business very, very quickly. And so that's why I have kind of come together with these 7 figures for 7 figures. It's a lot of the information that I learned that I turned around my first business in and then have really used to develop the second business. So a couple of rules of the house. This is my friend hanging on a rope waiting for you to tell us what you think. So we've got a viewer or so on Google. We're blasting on Facebook. And like I said, this is also the bonus for the Blast of Cash Master Series. So, you know, let us know what you think. Give us a comment. Say, good job, bad job, didn't get that, whatever it is. I really respond pretty positively to all emails and communication there. So just send it to us. That's how we get better, but it's also how we know what hit home, and we like those as well. The other thing that you can actually do, and I haven't mentioned it in the prior organizations and tapings, is share with us your ahas. What is really opening up for you that is changing the way that you're seeing your business? And there's a couple of things. Yes, I love to hear them. You know, I like to know we're doing a good job. But the bigger reason is by you actually either verbalizing or putting into writing what your aha is, it like cements it into your brain and gets you one more step to it becoming a reality for you and actually getting put into use. So it's a really good technique to make sure that everything that you're realizing is actually getting cemented in, and that you're not going to come back in 3 days and go, what was it that I remembered or that I realized that I needed to do? So take the moment to do that for yourself, and that way you'll get the most out of today's work as well. So our time together, this is completely a pay-it-forward environment, and it really is how I do my business as a whole. I gift a lot of knowledge to a lot of people. I understand that there are people out there that can afford my services, and there are people out there that aren't ready for my services. And so I want to make sure that we're meeting you where you are, and that I'm fulfilling my mission in doing this work for you. So we're going to pay it forward. I'm going to share as much as I can. Just understand that I can't go so deep in just a short little hour we're together. And what you'll be amazed with is how much more things there really are under what we're talking about today. But I'll kind of give you an idea of how you can get some more education on that, and then be able to really take these learnings and make them become a reality for you. So this is for you really if you have more money than month, or more month than money. The reverse, I'll take more money than month any day. But if you really are finding yourself running out of money in your month in your business, this is really going to be impactful for you. If you are constantly dipping into your personal resources, I told you when I first started coaching in my first business, my personal credit card paid for almost 3 months of coaching before the business was able to do this. This is what entrepreneurs do to really keep their businesses alive. So you're not alone, but you're going to get a lot of value from today. And for a lot of people, the reasons why we don't know these numbers is because we just don't get that financial side, or we feel like we're bad at math. And so we've put up this little barrier to our complete understanding of the tools that we have that would really drive our business forward. And then above I guess above all, that if you truly have a belief in yourself and truly have a belief in your business, that the success that you feel is just right around that corner, can come busting through the door, then this is one of the ways that we're going to help you unleash that. So you will learn, like I said, we've covered the 3 common mistakes before. I'll highlight them quickly, or at least show you the slides so that you'll remember them. But we've been going through the 7 most important numbers in your business. We've done 4 so far. We're going to do 3 today. And with each number really sinking into your mind what the importance of knowing that number is in your business and how to use it to then grow your business. So the 3 mistakes are, like we've said, is most entrepreneurs focus on client sales and profits. Those are the end results, not the input numbers, right? So they are the summations or the end of the equation, and not really things that you can fix and work on. What the 7 numbers is it's all the pieces that go into creating client sales and profits. And by understanding what goes into it, you can actually do so much more to improve them. The other part is, like we said, so many entrepreneurs have this mental block about math and the numbers, and I don't get it, and a million excuses that can come at you. The reality is, if you do not see what's in your business, there's no way for you to be able to plan for your business. And that planning can come in 2 ways. It can be planning for growth, but it can also be forecasting when you will have a dip in cash flow. There's a difference between profit and cash flow. You may not realize what that is, but having this see no evil kind of mindset really doesn't help you. If you're on that prosperity highway and you can't see the accident ahead of you, closing your eyes will just make sure you slam right on into the back end of another car, right? So we're here to kind of give you a reality, because from your reality you can improve. If you build it, they will come. This actually comes back into play today, and we're going to talk about it a little bit when it comes to profits. If you build it, yes, they will come, but there's a lot more that goes into it. Okay, so I think people feel like I'm going to open up my business and there's going to be a rush of people that come in and everything's going to be great and groovy, and it's probably a good thing that we have that mentality at some point in time, or we might not start a business. But there's actually a lot more effort and things and considerations that go into just outside of getting a product and trying to sell that. So that's one of some of the mistakes that we're combating here with this presentation. So the 7 most important numbers, we've gone through 4, like I said. Today we're going to talk about profit margin, lifetime value of a client or a customer, and then the cost of acquisition, what it costs you to actually get a client. We're also going to talk about the relationships that kind of occur in these numbers. So I need you to be on board with 1% is huge, and that's basically that a small change at any point in time along these 7 figures has an exponential value. We've gone over this before, but basically a 1% increase, even when I round, can represent a 14% increase to your bottom line. So if you understand that it doesn't take massive movement, but it takes conscious little movements to actually grow your business, you can see how easy it is to get to that 150% like we did in 2011. So I want to talk about profit, and profit's an interesting area to talk about, and I called it the profit paradigm because I would say profit's the #1 area that we get conflicted over. If we're not conflicted over sales, we're truly conflicted over profits, right? And one of the fun things is, part of the profit paradigm, is we live in a very capitalistic society, okay? If you're in the Western world and most of the Eastern world, I mean, honestly, a lot of our world is based in the buying and selling of goods, right? We have a global economy, and that's really becoming more and more evident. And as more and more societies truly come into embracing and finding that they can serve and develop income for themselves, capitalism is pretty strong. So we have a very capitalistic society base. And if you're in the States, it's even stronger so, I believe, than maybe the value systems of other countries, for good and for bad, guys. I gotta say that. But we couple that with the do what you love and the money will follow. I do think you need to do what you love, right? You need to enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, then why are you doing it? But it's kind of this complete opposite to the capitalism, right? Capitalism says we're going to do it for money. There's a huge movement that says do it for love. Where I'm telling you is, if you don't want to go bankrupt, you need to do it for both, right? You need to understand that you can do these things for altruistic reasons, for mission-based reasons, God-led reasons, but at the end of it, you do need to be profitable, because there's no verse in the Bible that says dig yourself into a hole and go bankrupt, right? There's no mantra out there that says that you should be in the poorhouse and that's a great place to be for you and your family. So I need you to get past this little bit of a profit paradigm and open up to the possibility that you can do both, that being profitable is good and allows you to do more good in the world. I have a phrase that I use that is one of my I am statements, and it says that I am building wealth so that I may build worth. Now, one of my volunteering hours, which I do a lot of volunteering, was up at the school this morning. We'll be up there again in a couple of days. There's church, a lot of things like that. There still are only so many hours in my day. What wealth does is it enables me to leverage that. There are a lot of great organizations out there that need my dollars a little more than they need my service. Think of that when you're thinking of profit. If you need that as your motivator, great. Because unless there's profit at the end of the day, there will be no wealth in your business. If breaking even isn't the goal, I think Sandra Yancey even said it's not about breaking even, it's about breaking through. And that's what we're really talking about when it comes to profits. So the profit paradigm, it leaves a lot of people confused. It challenges you about what you're thinking, challenges you about your mission. And if this is you going, huh? You're probably right on. But I want you to kind of come with me a little bit further. So there's another mistake we have when it comes to profit is we really don't plan for it. I think a lot of people just, I don't know, they're surprised at the end of the year when they get their tax statement. What? You mean I made money? How did that happen? What? I had a loss? When did that happen? It's very much a case of oblivion in our day-to-day lives, when it really is about, if you can start with the end in mind, knowing that you need a certain percentage of profit, you can build the business backwards. I have a lot of new clients that will come to me, and one case in point talking about a product or a service for senior citizens, which is a great market, doing kind of helping them with technology, which serves a great need. And the first question I had was how much money do you need to generate in this business to be able to fund yourself, cover overhead, and have enough profit? I didn't ask how much the price was, right? I started at the end. What's the end result going to be? And she had no idea. Most entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting a business, have put no thought into that, because everyone's telling us to think about target audience, market, and all this information. But you can sell, have a great product at a great price point, but if it's not really set up to give you profit in the end, do you really want to waste 12 months putting yourself into a situation of cash crisis? You need to start from the end and kind of work your way back so that you're actually including the idea of profit from the beginning to help you understand how many clients you need, at what price points you have, and start building everything backwards to generate those things. So what's profit margin? Easy peasy. It's the amount of revenue from sales exceeded that exceeds the cost in a business. So from this vantage point, if you took the total revenue and said we had 100,000, our total cost were 60,000, we would have profit of 40,000, which divided by the revenue is a 40% profit margin. 40% profit margins are very possible if you are in a coaching kind of business and depending on what level of growth you are. You need to understand that the profit does fluctuate depending upon your business stage and upon your business product. Whereas if you are a product-based business, chances are your profit margin is going to be much lower. It's not good or bad. It's just you need to understand where your profit margin should be based upon your business and based upon the stage of your business. And that's something we have to deal with a little bit more on one-on-one because there's so many variables. But here's the basic math of how to get to your profit margin. Okay, that was really simple. Basically wraps up our 7 numbers, which is kind of, or the first 5 numbers, which is why it's here. I want to kind of get you into understanding the marketing money machine, which is really the next 2 numbers when we talk about cost of acquisition and lifetime value of your clients. If you could imagine basically having this soda machine in your office and be able to press your button and have money come out the door. You can see there's a variety of prices there, right? Do you want the $10.25? Do you want the $1.15? You choose how much you're going to be able to invest for the kind of return that you're going to get. And that's what the marketing money machine is really all about. But let's talk about the numbers that build it up. So the first is that lifetime value of a customer. Like I said really early on, is most people stop short and really only think of their customer as the sale that they have just completed and will get a mindset of, well, there's nothing else they would buy from me. Or they don't have a funnel set up to really increase the lifespan of a client. From a services standpoint, if you solve one problem, what's going to be the next problem that they're going to have afterwards, right? You're not going to solve the world's problem in one sale. You might, but chances are you're not. Really is having what that next purchase might be. A lot of us just have that first purchase in mind, and so that's why our average number of purchases per client is 1, where our purchase cycle is 1, things of that nature. I mentioned this last episode when I talked about the consumer product goods and really being cognizant of what their purchase cycle was and knowing how long a client might be able to purchase with them. That's what the purchase cycle is, right? For how long is your client going to purchase? That's the lifespan of a client. How long are they going to purchase? Purchase cycle is how many times are they going to purchase, and then the average sale. So you can see that we're already pulling 2 of the previous numbers into this equation to get our lifetime value of a customer. So the math, really simple. The average sale times the average number of purchases. And I'm assuming for this exercise that their purchase cycle is 1 year. And so we'll have that. But imagine if their purchase cycle was 2 years or 3 years. If they're purchasing from you for 2 years, you've just doubled that income to $26,000. 3 times, 3 years, then you just purchased you tripled that lifetime value again. So understanding the value of your clients and really truly getting into understanding how many times they purchase and what those average costs or average sales are, you can start to see the multitude. So if you are really, your client's average sale is $5,000 and they purchase from you once, how much harder would it be for them to purchase from you again and suddenly double their lifetime value? So a lot of work that can go into that, a lot of strategies into improving that and really doing some great community development, some great relationship marketing in there. But I want you to see what the potential of it is and understand how simple it can be to actually get multiple purchases from a client. Then the next part that we're going to talk about is the cost of acquisition. So acquisition is getting a new client, everything that you do to actually get a new client. And this is probably the only number that you would rather see decrease over increase, although take that with a spoon of salt, because it just takes time and effort to actually get a new client on board. Either you're spending your time marketing, networking, those types of things, paying for Facebook ads, doing email marketing, whatever it is, there's a cost associated with getting in a new client. So when you look at the cost of acquisition, you're going to look at it in 3 different ways. You're going to look at the cost of your time, the cost of your marketing, and the number of clients that are generated. So the reason why time is so impactful here is because if you are marketing, you can't be selling to your existing clients. And so that time has value, right? You need to kind of be able to monetize your time when it comes to looking at your marketing. If you're not specifically doing this, it could be the time of your employees, time of any subcontractors that are helping you achieve this. Then there's the baseline cost of your marketing. If you've got a marketing firm that's handling certain areas of it, their costs would just get rolled up into here. Okay? So let's kind of do this. So if, let's say, over the course of, I don't know, a year, you invested $25 or 25 hours into marketing. This could be attending a networking meeting, right? And I'm including travel time because, again, if you're doing this, you can't be doing something else. And by your hourly rate. Now, this is the value that I think most people's time is worth. It may not be what you're actually charging, but if you can plug in your number so that you get what makes sense to you, and you'll see, so the time cost of our time was $5,000, okay? Then you go into the cost of marketing. So do you have a podcast? Is somebody else doing your production? Are you the only one doing your blogging? Who's posting the blog? You know, who's doing ads? Who's doing your newsletter? Who's doing the writing? I mean, all those costs that you're paying for services are good investments, but you need to be understanding how much they cost, okay? So if your total marketing cost is $20,000, and that includes your time in there. So let's say that all these lovely little things on our tree are $15,000, and we're adding in the $5,000 for our time cost. That total marketing cost is $20,000. That marketing generated 20 clients. Okay, so for those 20 clients, it essentially costs you, your cost of acquisition, $1,000 per client to receive. Is that all making sense? It is also one of these reasons, if your mind's a little befuddled at this moment, and it very might well be, once you understand that you can do this at a high level, you can actually start doing it at a leaf level. You know, each of these leaves, whatever you're doing, you could do it for each one of these and actually start to compare the effectiveness of one marketing channel versus another marketing channel. And you really should, because chances are you've got your top 3, but you're busy doing 12, right? And so when you don't know this information, when you don't have a way that's tracking those leads, which goes way back to the first number we talked about, how they're coming in the door and how they're converting, you don't have a true sense of what is working for you and what is not working for you. 90% of you out there that are listening to this don't know this information, and this is really one of those leaks in your business that is costing you money and time that you probably don't have, because it's what you think you should do, but it may not be what is being effective for you. So at this point in time, you could do the easy math. Really, when it comes to that marketing money machine, we're looking for a return on investment. Okay, a lot of people will say that marketing is one of the most difficult things to get a ROI on, and it is. And we've given you a couple of ways to be able to easily monetize that and be able to put the return on investment. But if you could acquire a client for $1,000 and that client was on average going to spend $13,000 with you, was that a good investment? I mean, how many days would you spend 1,000 to make 1,300 or 13,000? Sorry, I'm even making it less. You would probably do that every day of the week. I know I would. So then the question starts to become, how many clients can you afford? Right? But you're not going to know that information if you haven't gotten in touch with the numbers. So the homework for this last session is really about finding your profit margin, finding the lifetime value of your clients, and then finding your acquisition costs. Once you've got these last three numbers in, you can actually start to understand what it's going to take to get your business to turn around, what it's going to take to have a maybe slow growing business explode, okay, and be able to get that 150%. Now the numbers are just the tools. I am actually going to check on our time. We're doing good on time. So the numbers are just the tools. If you're joining us live on any of our live streams, you'll know, you've been with us, that there's a way to take this further, and I promised you that before, but it's really the Blast of Cash Master Series. And we have some amazing speakers that are coming in and sharing with us the strategies to really improve those 7 figures. I want you to stick with me, because if we get enough time, I'm going to show you something a little unplanned. But what can you expect? Really, it's the strategies to be able to find the clients that already have their wallets out, that have money in their wallets and are ready to buy from you, that be able to distinguish yourself in such a way that you have no competition. That's awesome to be, because when you have no competition, you can choose, you can charge what you're worth, and there's no question about it. We're going to also, because it's a Blast of Cash, we're going to talk about ways that you can leverage your marketing and your existing content with little to no money or effort. And then, again, just a ton of ways to be able to get that 10% or 50% boost to your income within the next 30 days. That should be worth the price, which is free, but your time that I'm asking you to invest to learn these things. And we're talking about how to patch those invisible backends. We already just talked about this, and how not knowing what your cost of acquisition really is per client, and being able to get those numbers even on a micro level down to your multiple marketing mediums really improves the leaks in your business. We will have lots of 6- and 7-figure strategies. If you're under 6 figures, you're going to be able to see how to grow into 6 figures, into multiple 6 figures. And like I said, this really is the vehicle that gives you the transportation to go to whatever level of business you really want to have. And it's all the same backbone. So it's the 7 figures is really the same structure that works in any business. The series does have a lot of fastest path to cash tips. You know, we teach on some things, but I was digging in with our experts to even find out what they do in their business when they need that blast of cash. So I promise you over 50 tips and tricks there. You don't want to miss out on those. You'll also get the 7 figures to 7 figures bonus. And here's where I'm going to pop over. So give me just a second, because I want you to see this a little bit. So I'm going to change my screen. And I'm going to flip over to this calculator, because we've been talking about all these numbers and you just may not truly understand what we're looking at. So here's our 7 figures to 7 figures. This is made so simple that if you know your leads, I'm just going to delete some numbers here. If you know all of these numbers that we've been talking about, or you don't know the numbers, but you can tell me how many leads you had. You had 20 leads. Your total revenue for last year was $100,000. and your total expenses were $60,000. We'll use that from our example today, and that you had 10 clients that came through the door, and they each, total purchases, maybe you had 17 purchases for the year. You invested $10,000 into marketing, and on average, your clients stay with you 2 years. All those things that we've been doing, suddenly you can start to see the impact. What would a 10% increase in your business be? If you had a $100,000 business and you increased your leads, your conversion, your average sale per client, your average number of purchases, I'm not even talking about increasing the net profit. I mean, that's your take home, but you've doubled your business. You more than doubled your business. This is huge, guys. If you did a 30% increase, you would quadruple your business. There are lots of strategies that go into getting a 10% increase in leads, but here's what we're talking about. It's like, we're talking about 2. It's not like 10, it's like 2. 10 gets you down here to where you're 8 times the amount. Okay, so you can just start to see how all of these numbers start to factor into each other and how the growth is possible. You can see what that lifetime value happens to the client and where it goes for you. And then, your cost of acquisition. Here, $1,000 to get a $20,000 client, that's really easy math. That's what the value of this calculator is. So I want you to grab that for yourself as part of the bonuses on the Blast of Cash Master Series, and not making this any harder on yourself than you really need to. You'll be able to download that and just be able to use it. I use this with my clients all the time. Usually it's one of those things that we do when we are either starting off and want to get to know their financial situation a little bit better, or even like after a year, we're going to come back to this, or even every quarter, and really take a look at the numbers and see where we're at. So that's an amazing bonus that I want you to be able to take advantage of. You also get some instant access to some of our great experts right off the bat. So I want you to be able to start taking a lot of these things and putting them into your business. And then a special surprise, which I think almost everyone has taken advantage of. You'll be able to see that once you register. It's just our way of paying it forward. I told you I have a big pay it forward kind of vision in my business, and it was one of the great ways that we could have a win-win for each other and be able to make it super easy for you to have this special surprise. So if you're interested, if you're not already part of the Blast of Cash series, you can just go to blastofcashseries.com, register for the event. I can't have made it any easier for you. And with that, that's the inspiration. One of my mentors put this out in her email post yesterday, and it reminded me again. It's 99% of us stop just short of gold. Right? Like the guy with the pickaxe who's walking away, we're stopping just short of our diamond minefield, right? It's because we've been working so hard. Really, the Blast of Cash Master Series can help you if you're this guy above who's just going after it gangbusters and trying to make it through that last 5 feet, or if you're this guy who's just made that turn to turn around and not make it that 1% of the way. This Blast of Cash Master Series is really designed to help both of you. Take the time, take advantage of that special surprise. It makes it so much simpler, and let me help you get that 1% and get to your diamonds so that you can have the business you were really meant to have and that you've been working so hard to achieve. That's it for now, guys. That's the end of our 7 figures to 7 figures series. I'll click back over so I can say hello one last time. All right, guys. So I hope you learned a lot. I hope that you had some opening in your mind of some opportunities that exist for you in your business. Take advantage of the Blast of Cash Master Series. You'll have ways to be able to get in contact with me. We actually have a live Q&A That'll be a 90-minute Q&A with some of our experts at the end of next week. So that'll be a lot of fun. You can get your questions answered. But please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. If you had any ahas, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to respond to them and get them answered for you. And until then, I plan on seeing you at the Blast of Cash Master Series. Thanks all. Have a great afternoon.